All right, what's up? Tim Sykes here. Sorry I didn't get to do a video lesson on Friday. It was a little bit of a crazy day for me. I was up in Boston actually with my dad. I got him an early Father's Day present where he was going to throw out the first pitch on the Red Sox game. I still have to post that video. I'm sorry I'm behind on everything, but check this out. The Red Sox, big props to them for helping me create what I think is the perfect Father's Day gift. Because my dad didn't just throw out the first pitch, he also had a very special catcher. So watch this video that I took. There's my mom.
Here's your boy. He's going to catch for you.
So that's pretty sweet. So that's Big Papi, perhaps one of the greatest Red Sox players, definitely my dad's favorite player, and we got Big Papi to be the catcher. So I'll post a video of him throwing out the first pitch later when I'm still catching up on so many emails, just going away literally for one day. And this was Thursday night. Friday, I actually had meetings back in New York, so I actually had to come back down to New York. I went from New York on Wednesday to Boston on Thursday, back to New York on Friday. We did a little family road trip up to Boston on Thursday, and then Friday, we're all over the place. My mom went back to Miami. My dad went to Connecticut. And I took the Excella Express back to New York so that I could actually have internet access for 3 hours. So that was my Friday. And I just want you to understand that to put everything that comes next into perspective. So my Excella Express train got in to Penn Station at around 3 p.m. My whole goal was to get in as quickly as possible so that I could possibly make a trade at the end of the day. In the morning, I actually had made a very good trade. Before we even get to the afternoon trade, let me talk about the morning trade, and that was MGT. So I want to talk about MGT because this is obviously the most volatile, biggest winning penny stock right now. It takes the place of SYNC, which was the big winner recently, and PRGN, which was the big winner recently before that. So tons of hot plays right now. Me and a lot of other people are not so keen on this company. You have this new CEO, John McAfee, and obviously he created a great, well-known company in the past, but he's also kind of lost his mind. And if you Google him and see some of his videos, you can see that. There's a reason why he hasn't been on Wall Street for several years. He's kind of like an older Martin Shkreli, if you remember KBIO. These characters come out of the woodwork, and it sounds all great and good, but then, details start to come to light, and guess what? This company and this project probably will fail. Do I know that for a fact? No. Do I have inside information? No. If something is sketchy, you just have learned over time, or at least I've learned over time, that it's probably going to be sketchy in the future. So I've been looking to short this each of the past few days, thinking that, a big panic was happening. We had a nice little morning panic on Thursday, and then the squeeze, I actually lost a little bit, and then a nice morning panic on Friday. And we got a nice double bottom in here at 115, 120-ish. I actually took quite nice advantage of this morning panic, shorting it. E-Trade had shares to short, made a few $100, made up for these losses. This will end badly, but at the same time, Fridays are the most dangerous day to short. So I covered. I was also traveling, so I don't mind playing it safe. But just beware, those of you who are long. When the CEO, and now he's tweeting like, "Oh, we've got the #1 stock," like very, very sketchy stuff. CEOs should not be tweeting stuff like that. Real CEOs. So I'll continue to look at this as a potential short, but I hope it goes up. I don't like shorting $1 stocks. It's scary. So this was the morning play. Then after, my train ride, it took me like a half hour to get to my hotel. I barely got in. I think I got my laptop up and working like around like 3:40 p.m. And at this point, GSAT was a big breakout. And those of you who are my, subscribers or students from many years ago, we know that GSAT was a very cool supernova back here in 2013, 2014, where it went from 40 cents to $4 a share. So I like buying former supernovas. Stocks have, kind of like this muscle memory where you can, kind of see that it's going to come back again if it has the right news, if it has the right price action. So while I was on a train or, just getting to Penn Station, the news came out right in here at around, it spiked, and then the news came out right here during the halt. And the news was this. Where is it? I have it somewhere. This was briefing.com, and they said 3:11 p.m. Global Star informed by the FTC that they're basically looking at authorizing their satellite internet plan. And GSAT has been waiting for this for so long. I found this article over the weekend. Where was it? Right here. And this was Friday night, so this wasn't published yet. But and it's actually the FCC, not the FTC. Briefing.com, they kind of suck. It's not the FTC, FCC. And also, I should mention that Stocks to Trade had the news right here at 3:10 p.m. So we beat Briefing.com by a minute. The stock was halted. It doesn't matter. I wasn't even around for it, but nice to know that not everything is geared towards low price news, low price stocks news. Stocks to Trade specifically is. So you're going to see this again and again. This is why I really love Stocks to Trade. But anyways, this news came out and the stock spiked, and I wasn't even around to do anything. If I had been, I probably still would have been too scared at 3:30 p.m. I like buying or shorting near the market close because then you have the safety of the market close. I don't want to buy right here at 260 trying to hold it overnight and then it comes down to 230. And guess what? I'm going to have to cut losses because, I'm not going to risk losing freaking 10% plus. That said, I do think the news is interesting, and I'll tell you why. So in my alert, where was it? So this was my morning trade. I made remember, I'm trading with such a small account this year. I made like $200 on MGT. Just so that some people think, oh, you're using your subscribers to make money. I lose money if I make 220 on a trade. Trading with such a small account, it costs me more to send out text messages. I don't trade in order to make trading profits. I trade in order to teach. Every single trade, good or bad, is a lesson for you guys to see what I did right or what I did wrong. On this one, I did a good job recognizing that MGT had its first red day or potential first red day, first red morning. So I shorted a little. I also was very, conscientious of my travel schedule. So whenever you're trading, you have to know, are you going to be available all day? Are you going to be, going from city to city in the middle of the day? So I shorted a very small amount. E-Trade had 1,000 shares, and I got the morning panic, and I covered. This was a good trade. And in case you ever think like, oh, he's trying to make $200, that is never my goal. But I do like showing you how to grow a small account. If I'm holding the stock for 15 minutes or 30 minutes or 45 minutes or 2 hours, it's all to try and protect my small ass motherfucking account. My $12,000 account, which I started the year, is now roughly $42,000. So playing it safe, playing it cautiously. I know it's not fun. I know it's not fun to watch, but that is what I do when I have a small account and I grow it. A few hundred here, a few hundred there. Sometimes I'm wrong, but that's the strategy. With GSAT, so I'm getting in, right around 3:40 p.m. And this is where it gets interesting. So it had already made this low right in here at 227. So it started bouncing before I can even really buy it on the big dip here. But now you have specific risk management. So I actually wanted to make this poll. I was going to create a free poll because I got to create a new guide that really talks about how to set goals and how to manage risk. Not just about finding the hottest stocks, not just about patterns. So, would you like a new guide overviewing risk management, goal setting, and probability odds on trades? I know that's not a cool thing. I'll put this poll at the in the blog post that this video will be in. But I'm thinking of making this new guide, talking about all this unsexy kind of stuff. But it's important because when I was buying GSAT, so first of all, I'm buying GSAT because it has this news of a potential FTC license, which this company has been waiting for years. Even though the New York Post got the FCC wrong, and it's actually FTC, just to make fun of how like journalism works. They did get this right, where they said, you know, they're still short sellers. They're saying approval doesn't mean cash flow. Blah blah blah. Global Star's billionaire owner who touted the approval, or maybe it is the FCC. I don't even know. No, it is FCC. Oh, Briefing.com got it, the FTC thing wrong. My bad. But you know, they have been waiting since 2013. So since that run up from 40 cents to $4, they have been waiting for FCC approval. So I know that, and I remembered that. You know, I didn't know the exact dates. I just remember that, you know, this stock had run up 10 times in the past, and they've been waiting on news ever since. So with this speculative news that, you know, it's on the docket for the FCC to make, you know, some kind of announcement, whether it's good or bad, just the fact that it's on that docket means that something is moving forward for the first time in 3 years. So this is huge, huge news. This is an obvious buy catalyst. I know some people were shorting. They are idiots. They are not millionaires. They do not show all of their trades publicly. And frankly, I'm just ashamed for them. I can be wrong a lot of the time, but I would never, never short a former supernova with, you know, multi-year breaking news like this. And I'm not saying that GSAT will definitely get it. I'm saying that just the fact that they got this announcement is a huge step forward. Okay? And this is another thing that the New York Post got right. Where was it in this article? Let's see. The company is one of the most shorted on the New York Stock Exchange, as hedge funds have made bets that the spectrum was far from valuable. So this is the beauty of GSAT. So you have this former runner, this former supernova that has this potentially positive news, and you can see the stock spiked in reaction to the news. So yes, the news is positive. It's a multi-billion-dollar company, so I'm not really comfortable trading it. I bought the stock at $2.42, by the way, $2.42. After hours, it's up to $2.80, just for those of you who don't know. But let's go. Here's how I find this. Key statistics on the left-hand side, as I talk about in DVDs, that too many of you guys haven't watched. And guess what? 53 million shares, up from 51 million shares, are short. So 53 million shares are betting that this company will fail. Even if they eventually do, even if they eventually don't get FCC approval, the risk, the potential for pain that these short sellers, these 50 million plus short sellers might have, is what drives the stock. And that is why I bought. So my buying it here at 240, you know, and the thing is so liquid. I mean, it traded, what, 15 million shares, and I bought 2,000 shares. It's funny, some people are like, oh, you pumped this stock. You pumped it with your 2,000 shares and all your subscribers who usually buy like 500 shares because they're so broke. Like, it's so ridiculous, the lies that come out of people's mouths. This stock is one of the most actively traded stocks. I bought such a puny position. My subscribers are almost entirely broke or have a few $1,000s to their name. And I specifically say, do not piggyback my alerts. And yet you have other chat rooms where people are trading with 7- and 8-figure accounts. Sorry, I rant. But I did not pump this stock. I want to show you when a good time to buy is. Former supernova, positive news, lots of shorts, and a set risk. I'm buying this thing at 240-ish, basically just because I'm getting into my hotel room then. Otherwise, I probably would have been in somewhere on this dip. But now I have a solid low here at like 225 or 230-ish. So my buying it at 240, if somehow before the end of the close or even after hours, or pre-market on Monday, it goes below 230 or 225, I cut losses quickly. That is rule number one. So I have the potential risk of losing 5, 10 cents a share. My potential gain, I did not know it was going to go to $3 a share. My potential gain is that it could retest the highs here of 265 and break out. So my goal was, I don't even remember what I typed because it was so quick. I was just trying to get out the, the alert before the market closed. Goal is to make 25 to 50 cents a share. Cool. So that's what I said basically because I'm buying it at 240-ish, and if it somehow tops here at 265, okay, that's a 25 cent a share profit. That's how I get, my target. I look for the former high, and I'm not saying that it definitely has to break the former high because maybe it'll double top, which it actually started to do. And so I was selling into this, and the way that I phrased it, a lot of people have questions. I say, Grr, it keeps uptrending after hours, nearly hitting my goals, so I'm forced to take profits since there's no overnight risk. So this is what this guide, if you want me to make this guide, will basically talk about, where in my head, obviously I have the goal of making 25 to 50 cents a share. So some people are like, well, why don't you just wait for 25 cents a share? For me, it's a sliding scale, okay? If I make 24 cents a share or 20 or even 18 cents a share, as it turned out, that's good enough to the bottom of my goal range to make me want to take it, because when at the time I was selling, it could not break 265. Okay. In fact, actually, I sold it in here before it could even break 260. So I'm thinking this might double top at 265, and I can get out inside of an hour with no overnight risk. That's not what I wanted. But as I said, grr, the stock forced it on me based on its price action, thinking that it was going to double top at 265. And if it's going to double top at 265, why hold overnight on speculative news? Why not just take your profits? So that's what I did. That is what I mean when I say it forced my hand. It's not because, oh, I'm looking to make 18 cents a share. Oh, I want to issue a buy alert and then sell inside an hour and have everyone say, oh, you just wanted to get out. It's because I'm looking at the risk reward. I know that this might sound complicated to you guys, but every single trade I'm trying to do properly based on risk reward and probability and odds and risk management. And that's why I think this guide might be good, because I can give hundreds of examples like this. The reason why it spiked to the 320s at around 5:15 p.m. and by the way, I wasn't even back at my computer. I had to make it back to a dinner meeting. I just donated $25,000 to this charity that builds schools in Bali. So I was actually meeting with the director. So I have a crazy fucked up schedule. So even if I had somehow ignored risk reward, it got up to 265, perfect double top. It came down to 250. I was not going to sit around or be here to sell in the threes as some of you think. Some of you are like, oh, you should have sold in the threes. Yeah, well, that's easy if I have no life. But, I'm freaking getting my dad gifts. I'm giving gifts in Bali. I'm trading. I'm traveling. I'm trying to do a lot of stuff. So give me a break. Some of you guys in your emails being like, you should time things better. I'm trying to just fit in and trying to teach based on good trades and bad trades. And I want to show you that you can do this no matter what your schedule is, because I have one of the craziest schedules you will ever hear about. And I'm still managing to trade and make a few hundred here or there. And it adds up over time, as you can see. So why did it spike right in here in the threes? Well, it's because of this news. Where was it? I had it somewhere. This. So this was at 5:20 p.m. The FCC chairman is said to recommend approval of Global Star. And so that came out, just after 5 p.m. And, again, I didn't know this news was going to happen. I'm not specifically betting on the fact that they were going to get approval. I'm betting on the fact that since I know how short sellers think, because, I am one, guess what? I know when short sellers want to cover. And as I said, the volume was only 15 million. So even if every single one of those shares was a short covering, which it's not because, half the shares are buys, half the shares are sells. So even if every single, buyer was a short seller who was covering, we're talking about 7 million shorts covering. And it wasn't. There's normal buyers like me too. So probably maybe 3 or 4 million shares at most that were short out of the 53 million covered into this potentially damaging news for short sellers. So I like buying stocks with high degrees of short sellers with potentially monstrous, potentially hugely positive news. No different than an earnings winner with a lot of shorts. If you remember back a few years ago, I bought ESI before it tripled, and I sold that one too soon too. And I actually got a lot of hate for that one too. I'm not trying to be there for the cataclysmic event where, you have something really positive, because it might be something negative too. I think ESI eventually failed. Let me see. Yeah, ESI eventually failed. But the key for buying stocks like ESI or GSAT, it was right here. And I was buying it in the 5s. And it went to 13 2 days later. But it was already down so much, and they had positive news, and they had a ton of shorts. So that is why I buy. And it happens again and again and again. And a lot of you guys just don't know history, and you don't study history. And so you're confused, and you lash out based out of ignorance. And it's frustrating to me because, I'm writing the history books. I'm making all of these videos and cataloging example after example after example. And I have the right mindset. I have the right perspective. I have the right patterns. But a lot of you guys don't. Especially those of you who were shorting GSAT and you got absolutely crushed. Any of you are free to bet against me and totally ignore my rules or patterns or whatever you want. But I'm telling you that I have been studying this stuff for nearly 2 decades. So if I were you, I would just trust me. That's why I trade with such a small account, because I'm that secure in my patterns and my catalysts and my rules. So it doesn't matter that I trade with a small account. I'm the only, experienced trader who trades with a very small account. Did you ever think why? Some people are like, oh, it's because you can't trade. No, it's because I want to focus on teaching. It doesn't matter if I buy 2,000 shares of ESI or 20,000 or 200,000 shares. If I have too big of a position, then it's about ego and it's about trading profits, which it is for most people. For me, 2,000 shares is puny. The money that I made on this, not on ESI, on GSAT, it doesn't matter. I lost money on the overall text message, but I get the lessons out, I get the teachings out, and guess what? It turned out that I was on the right track. In fact, in my chat room, when I gave the buy alert, I think both Mark Crook and Michael Good both said, I don't like it. I don't know what this news means. I didn't even know what this news means, okay? I didn't know the technicalities of FCC approval or any of that. I knew that it spiked a shitload in reaction to this news, and I saw how many shares were short, and it's a simple mathematical formula here where there is way too many shorts in this stock, and they're going to have to cover to try and protect themselves. And, even now it's at 280. I don't know what happens on Monday, but this is a short squeeze. This whole thing is a short squeeze. And this could go to $5 on Monday for all I know. I'm giving a whole virtual live trading day. So this would be a fantastic stock for me to trade. But I wanted to make this video lesson over the weekend so that you understand the catalysts and the reasoning and the rationale for my trades. Explaining trades, not just buying and selling and alerting the ticker and alerting the price and being like, good trade, bad trade based on your profits. That's bullshit. You don't learn anything. But by examining this, looking at the specific indicators, looking at the specific news, and thinking about the short sellers, thinking how other short sellers think, that is how you learn these patterns. That is how you can get ahead of the game. And using stocks to trade, you can beat other news services by a few minutes. It's all about gaining some kind of edge. Okay, if you have a faster news service, if you understand these patterns faster than other people do, you have an edge. And I'm very proud of several students. Let's see. Where was it? Oh, here's an email I got from Diego. This is he's a new challenge student, and he said, "Just wanted to let you know I've been busy with fits and development and didn't follow up on the challenge. Stopped to the last video, learning to build my watch list. Started today. Followed on news on GSAT. Saw you getting out too early. In at 2:45, out at 3:16 after hours. Awesome job, Diego. That's a great trade. And then also Trina. She got in at 2:44 and out at 2:65 for a nice $200 profit. Good job, Trina. And don't feel bad if you sell too soon. You couldn't predict that 5:20 p.m. news. You got out and you thought that it was going to be a double top at 265, which is what the price action was telling you. So many more people. I was just trying to copy and paste a few. This is not a full list. But look at this. Live Long 92 in the chat room. In MGT at 105, out at 152. 3,000 shares, so I think he made like $1,500. Lars Shaw, don't feel bad if you have a small account, $77 profit, that's fine. Siddharth made some money on MGT. I like this. V Madness made $1,500 in 2 minutes. Getting Rich shorted like I did. The Bearded Trader was in at 98 cents, out at 140 at 2,000 shares. My $3,500 account is feeling it. Finally hit my first goal. And then he said, can't thank you enough, man. I've been learning a lot recently. This was another one. Made $1,600. This was Vincent. This was an email, I think, or comment. I don't know. I get comments everywhere. Here's Mind Sculptor. Made some money on HLTH. OCHSZY shorted MGT nice for $1,200 profit. Biggest gain for his account ever. Fabio did the trade shorting MGT before me. This is what I love seeing. Students recognizing the patterns in the setups and doing it before me. Never follow any alerts. Never. Never trust anyone's picks or research. You can only trust yourself. And that's why you need to be self-sufficient. None of my millionaire students follow my picks or piggyback my alerts, okay? In fact, they probably bet against them. A lot of the time, Tim Grittani is shorting morning spikes, and I like buying morning spikes. It's okay, okay? I don't get offended if someone goes against me. There are traders, they think it's like the worst betrayal possible if you go against somebody like, I'm long this stock. How could you short it? Get over yourself, okay? You guys can trade however you want, but I will tell you right now that piggybacking alerts or following anybody's trades or any breaking news without a plan, without your own self-sufficiency will never make you rich. And that is a fact. And that is why I have the most millionaire students, and I am damn proud of that. Because there's a lot of teachers and gurus and chat rooms and newsletters and websites out there that do it wrong. And their people don't realize it until it's too late and they lose 50 or 75% of their account and you never hear from them again. Rule number 1 for me, cut losses quickly. Tim Grittani actually was shorting MGT. If you follow him on Twitter, he had some good comments about how he cut losses. Here's Seth. You and I had the same plan. Your DVDs really rock. Was only in a few cents under. You made $120. Here's B Mort. Shorted MGT. Be Strong shorted MGT. Beyond Trades actually dip bought MGT. That's good. This is awesome from Loco Zoco. Thanks again for your training, Tim. Watching your How to Make Millions DVD when the kids are sleeping. Grew my account 38% from 2,300 to 3,100 in just basically the past month. Awesome job, Loco Zoco. Gelzinga bought MGT at 77 cents, sold some at 179 for $1,500 profit. His $4,000 account is up 33% in the week. Thanks for the mentoring. Well, it's my pleasure. I love seeing this. And I did not even buy MGT. I had a crazy week full of travel and schedules. That's my excuse. But also, I just don't trust this motherfucker, okay? I don't trust this new CEO. He reeks. He reeks. Even though KBIO went up for several weeks, with Shkreli in charge, I have no doubt that he's going to try and pump up MGT even more. But will he succeed? Will, his legs get chopped out from under him with some negative news and, reality? Probably. So I'll continue looking at MGT as a potential short. But if he wants to pump it and if you guys want to buy it, by all means do it. But I am telling you right now, MGT is sketchy. and sketchy almost always fails. Here's BL wins it. Hey Tim, I've been a subscriber to your service for a year, just auto renewed penny stocking silver. I've been trading since 2000. I learned more in the past year than the previous 16 years. That's awesome. Oh, here's some of the GSAT trades. And I just got to give these details out so that you understand what traders and students of mine are doing to make it work. Here's Teller, good trade, traded better than me on GSAT. You know, made like 800 bucks. Sean, good job. He traded off price action, traded better than me. Nick was in at 243 out at 260, similar trade to me. Here's Lion Trader, first trade ever in MGT at 137 out at 177. And he's been studying since the Vegas conference. Will stay more consistent. Loves stocks to trade in the chat room. I'm glad, Lion Trader. And here's more. This was awesome. Tox, you know, in GSAT at 245 out at 315. This I wanted to bring up because this is Akashic Trader. He's a newbie. He said, I was going to buy GSAT, but once again, I sat and did nothing like I do every day. Just sit and watch all the plays, starting to get frustrated. Can't figure out what the problem is. I even tried just to buy 100 shares and I still freeze up. It's okay. God, you guys put so much pressure on yourselves to be perfect and to, you know, see what you can do every single day. Have patience, okay? GSAT was not a gimme by any means. You have to understand short selling. Ideally, you've seen my short stocking DVD, so you understand short squeezes. But the opportunity was there, so you just need to study more until you get more comfortable with the patterns. That's the key. And if you want to buy 100 shares or if you want to paper trade, Stocks to Trade is actually coming out with a new paper trading feature in the next few weeks. You guys are going to love it. Here's Ideal Piper. You know, I wasn't even in the chat room, so I had to go back to the archives, but you can read all the archives from the chat room here. Ideal Piper in at 243, out at 3 on GSAT. So making 60 cents a share, 30% gain. Mike in at 241, out at 315. Mally Pally in at 242, out at 325. ASA Blitz in at 244, sold at 330. $200 profit. $200 profit. What are we talking here? Let's do the math here. 2.44 times 250. So they put in $600 and they came out with a $215 profit in like an hour or an hour and a half. That's freaking awesome. And it's not luck. It's not manipulation. It's not pumping. It's understanding what a motherfucking short squeeze is. And I have to swear to really piss off those of you who are narrow-minded or who get offended when I swear, because I don't want you as my student. You're not worthy. The beauty of my being real is that I can swear, and I get to choose my students. The beauty of being real in an industry full of fakes, frauds, scammers, liars, cheats, and trolls is that I get to choose who gets to learn my rules. I know that sounds cocky. I know it sounds bad, but I don't care. It's reality. I have thousands of people begging me every single day. If you get offended by anything I say, go unfollow me. Don't learn another thing. My feelings will not be hurt. I'm already overwhelmed as it is. But if you do want to learn, then understand why I trade. Understand why I teach and how I teach and why I have the most millionaire students. And I'm going to keep repeating that so that it really gets inside your head, because some of you don't really understand it. You think that I actually care about making your $200 or $300 or losing $200 or $300. It's to show you specifically in video lessons like this. I was planning on holding it over the weekend. I knew from the minute that I clicked the buy button that I was going to make a video lesson and I was going to talk about how to really take advantage of a short squeeze. I did not anticipate selling so soon. I did not anticipate, you know, the price action that was going to happen exactly. I got in because it was a former runner with huge volume. Oh, and I should mention, it's also a technical breakout. This was another thing that got me to buy. Technical breakout right over here at 220. So guess what? If you want to look, why did it bounce right here? Why did it stop here in the 220s? Because it's a multi-month technical breakout. Classic technical breakout over 215, 216. I have no idea why some people are shorting this. Do not short technical breakouts with potentially gigantic news and huge short positions. And if you look at 2 years, it was also a nice breakout over here. Here was the actual breakout from last November in the low 220s. And so when it bottomed in the 220s near the market close, that now acts as support. 220, 225, 230-ish. At worst, I'm going to lose 5, 10, 15 cents a share. And at best, I thought I could make 25 cents a share, maybe 50 cents a share. As it turned out, there was 90 cents a share of upside from my buy alert already. What it's going to do now, I don't know. I go in specifically for the initial short squeeze because a lot of shorts are not prepared, especially on a Friday afternoon. So as news begins to travel, did you hear about GSAT's news? Did you hear about the spike? Short sellers begin to shit in their pants. And that, guess what? That makes them want to buy to cover. And then when there's just a remark made that they might even get FCC approval, that pushes the stock up another 70 cents. So that is the trade with GSAT. I'm going to be doing a virtual trading day on Monday all day. So I'm going to be pretty damn busy with that. I think, I don't think we opened up anymore. I don't know. I got to check with my programmers. I think we were trying to open up like 10 more spots. If they did get it done, I'll post a link to get in there if you haven't already. But I think it's like 50-50. So I'll just add the link after this if you can, but no promises. So don't count on that. But I'm really looking forward to those of you who are going to be in the virtual trading day. We're going to have a camera on me from 9 a.m. till 4 p.m. Eastern. So you're going to be able to see my screen. You're going to be able to see me. It's going to be pretty sick. So I'm looking forward at this new tool that's going to teach people. And, you know, I'll still be looking at MGT. We got a few other stocks in play also, but GSAT was the play because of the setup. And I just wish that more of you guys would learn to recognize these setups as fast as I do. And it'll happen in time. You know, the more you study these setups, this is literally no different than ESI, which was, you know, several years ago, and that went on to triple. I don't know what GSAT is going to do, but I can't imagine the 50 million shares that are still probably short are going to be feeling too good on Monday. So this might spike even more. But, you know, the easy money from the low twos to the high twos is already done. So that's where the easy money was. Now it's kind of more of a guessing game. So I have no position. I took my few $100s in profits. I'm glad that some of you, you know, took profits. I'm glad that some of you, you know, held. I'm glad that all of you are at least learning. Because the more examples of stuff like this, you know, MGT was really the only volatile play of the past few days. Now this one came out of nowhere in the last hour of the trading day on Friday. So it's good, you know, with every new volatile play, with every new supernova, you learn. And, you know, you'll look back in a year or two and you'll say, oh, I remember GSAT. I remember this similar setup. And that's how you get good over time. Just remembering similar setups. You know, the reason why I found ULTR and GLBS before they both, you know, tripled, I missed PRGN, but I nailed the sympathy plays, was because, as outlined in my How to Make Millions DVD, it's all about sympathy plays when there's volume, when there's price action with these hot sectors. So whenever the next hot sector pops up, I don't know what it's going to be. People always ask me, but I'll tell you that I will be prepared to probably buy the sympathy plays and, you know, maybe a few days later even short them too. So the patterns repeat, the catalysts repeat, the stocks change, but, you know, your preparation, it's up to you. And I know some of you guys don't want me ranting, but it's so key to have the right mindset. It's not just about buying good companies and short selling bad companies. You really have to understand the risk and goal setting and, you know, the risk of holding overnight. So if you almost hit your goals and you don't have to hold overnight, I mean, I'm almost always going to take those profits because I don't want to hold a speculative stock over the weekend. What if somebody comes out over the weekend and says the FCC is going to deny this company? You know, this thing might reopen at $2 a share. So when you have the gains or most of the gains that you wanted and you don't have to risk it overnight, take it. Don't feel bad. Don't listen to any bullshit what somebody else says. You go in with the plan, and if the stock nearly hits your goals, you take it. If you want to risk more, risk more. I'm always going to trade the safer option, not just for me personally, but because I'm trying to, teach you good habits. I can't ever think of an opportunity where it's like, oh, I regret playing it too safely. We're in an industry where 90% of traders fail, and a lot of people blow up and they lose all of their money. So safety first is not just optional for me. It's how I want to teach, and it's how I want you guys to practice. And I know it's not much fun. I know you want to be degenerate gamblers like other chat rooms and newsletters and websites, but at the same time, there's a reason why my millionaire students still have their millions. And a lot of these other people, they might have some good wins here or there, but you stop hearing about them afterwards because they lose a lot because they're gamblers. Do not be a gambler. I don't mind selling GSAT too early, and I wanted to make this long-ass video lesson to help you understand exactly why I sold so early. And it doesn't make a fucking difference if I make $200, $300, or $500 on the trade. I think it cost me about like $560 to send out text messages to students just for the alerts. So no matter what I do, I'm losing money on it. But it's okay because education is my primary focus. And as you can see with my account going from 12,000 to 42,000 in just over 4 months, I am on the right track, even though my text messages probably wiped that out. But I hope that you have enjoyed this. I hope that you're learning a lot from my small positions and overly safe trading. And hopefully, I can get into that degenerate side of your brain and start chipping away at the stubbornness so that you learn to trade safer too. I'll see a lot of you guys in the virtual trading floor tomorrow. The rest of you, I'll see you in the chat room. I'll still be giving alerts and I'll be in the chat room, but I'll be answering a lot of questions live with my virtual trading floor people all day on Monday. So get excited. Have a good day, guys.